0 to 1. Competition is for losers. That's what billionaire investor Peter Thiel boldly declares in 0 to 1. And no, it's not arrogance, it's strategy. If you're copying others, you're adding nothing new. If you're creating something truly unique, you're going from 0 to 1. This book is a battle cry for original thinkers, bold builders, and anyone tired of playing by startup rules that were broken from the beginning. Let's dive in. Chapter 1. The future is not incremental. Thiel makes a powerful distinction. Horizontal progress means doing more of what already works. It's about copying successful models and expanding globally. Vertical progress, on the other hand, means doing something entirely new. Innovation. He argues that true technological leaps don't come from optimizing what exists. They come from asking radical questions that no one is asking. The core question is this: what valuable company is nobody building? Incremental thinking is safe. It pleases investors, avoids risk, and feels manageable. But it rarely creates true transformation. The companies that change the world, Airbnb, SpaceX, Stripe, they didn't just improve something. They imagined something that had never existed before. Going from 1 to N is easy. Going from 0 to 1, that's hard. It requires courage, vision, and the willingness to think differently, even at the cost of being misunderstood. So next time you look at an industry, ask, what's broken? What's outdated? What's never been tried? Because that's where the real future begins. Chapter 2. Secrets and Monopolies. Thiel believes that great businesses are built on secrets, ideas you believe to be true that others haven't discovered yet. But secrets are uncomfortable. They go against the crowd. And most people, driven by fear of standing out, never dare to explore them. A secret might be a scientific insight, a customer behavior, a market no one sees. And the courage to act on that secret. That's how monopolies are built. Monopolies aren't evil. Thiel redefines them. They're businesses that do something so uniquely well that no one else can replicate it. Google dominates because its search engine is exponentially better. Amazon became a monopoly in logistics. These companies win by being different, not louder. The alternative? Compete in crowded markets, fight over scraps, drown in noise. In other words, be a loser. Your mission is to find a secret, something others overlook. Then build a product or service that makes that secret obvious. In hindsight, the best entrepreneurs don't follow maps. They chart new territory. Chapter 3. Last Mover Advantage. Everyone talks about being the first to market, but Thiel argues it's better to be the last. Being first doesn't mean much if you're not lasting. Think of MySpace versus Facebook, Netscape versus Google Chrome. History forgets the pioneers who didn't endure. The last mover is the one who becomes synonymous with the category. Apple didn't invent the smartphone, but they perfected it. Amazon wasn't the first to sell books online, but they built the infrastructure that shaped e-commerce. Last movers dominate because they refine, scale, and systemize. They capture network effects, lock in customers, and outlast the hype cycle. The takeaway? Focus less on being early and more on being enduring. It's not about speed, it's about substance. Thiel wants you to think long-term. Can your company survive a decade? Can you become so good, people can't imagine life without you? Monopoly isn't a flash, it's a fortress. Chapter 4. Founders and Foundations. Founders shape everything. Thiel argues that the DNA of a company is set early, and it's largely determined by the founding team's mindset, culture, and principles. That's why great startups often reflect the personality of their founders. Steve Jobs was obsessive, minimalist, and perfectionist. So was Apple. Elon Musk is bold, unafraid of risk, and driven by mission. So is SpaceX. Thiel warns against dilution. If a company brings in too many outsiders too early, it loses clarity. Founders must resist the pressure to conform and stay rooted in their original vision, even when it's unpopular. He also critiques the idea of a CEO in a suit replacing the founder. That might look good to VCs, but it kills soul. What's needed is authentic conviction, not corporate polish. Founders who lead well create cultures that outlast them. They don't just hire, they embed principles, they scale belief. The question isn't just, what are you building? But also, who's building it? And what values are baked into its foundation? Chapter 5. Power Law Thinking. In a world obsessed with diversification, Thiel flips the script. He introduces the power law, the idea that a small number of inputs produce the majority of outputs. In venture capital, 1 out of 10 investments delivers 90% of the returns. The same applies in business. One product, one hire, one decision can change the game. Most people spread themselves thin, trying to hedge bets. But Thiel encourages deep focus. Identify what matters most, and go all in. This requires courage. It's scary to bet on one thing, but greatness demands risk. And power law thinking is a lens to see where that risk has the highest reward. Ask, what's the one thing I can do that would change everything? Where is the asymmetric upside hiding? Your job isn't to do everything. It's to do the right thing, deeply and dominantly. Chapter 6. Sales matter more than you think. Tech founders love to say, our product will sell itself. But Thiel says that's a myth. Even the best innovations need champions. Sales is not sleazy, it's strategy. If you can't convince people to buy in, your product is invisible. Think of Steve Jobs. He didn't just build products, he told stories. He made people believe. He wrapped emotion around technology. Distribution is the difference between a genius invention and a failed idea. So founders must learn to sell, not just externally, but internally. Sell your team the vision. Sell your investors the upside. Sell the world a reason to care. In a noisy world, the loudest truth wins, not just the best one. Chapter 7. Technology is not destiny. Silicon Valley often believes in inevitable progress, as if the future will happen automatically. Thiel disagrees. He believes the future depends on what you choose to build. The default path leads to mediocrity. If you want a different future, you must challenge assumptions. This means asking deeper questions, refusing to follow the crowd, thinking from first principles, not just case studies. Progress is a choice, not a guarantee. You don't stumble into greatness, you architect it. Thiel's challenge is simple but radical. Think for yourself. Build boldly. Don't wait for permission. Because the world doesn't need another app. It needs a breakthrough. 0 to 1 is not a startup book. It's a mindset revolution. It's for the creator who's tired of copying. The builder who won't settle for better when the world needs different. So ask yourself, what's the secret you believe that others don't? What monopoly could you build that the world needs? What bold step will you take? That takes us from 0 to 1. This was 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel. Brought to you by Success Resources Books Insights. You don't need to become more. You need to become present. This is more than mindset. It's a mission. Keep seeking, keep growing, keep giving. And together, let's make the world rich again.